Good morning, students. Today's learning objective is students will be able to solve 1 and 2 step equations. Okay, so I would like you to print out the PDF file that I have attached on Edmodo. You can either print out the file, in case you don't have a printer, you can just show your work on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, so for today's lesson, make sure you have a pencil. I would like you to show your work for each problem in order to get credit, and you can use a highlighter or a marker. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the first problem here. So you're going to start where it says begin. In the first problem here we have 2x equals 8. Okay, so algebraically the way we would solve it, we know the opposite operation of multiplying is dividing, so we need to get x by itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and divide each side by 2. Okay, 2 divided by 2 cancels out. So now we have x, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So here x is equal to 4. You can also check your work. Do 2 times 4, which gives us 8. Okay, and then I would like you to shade in or color x equals 4. So it's going to be either one of these two, okay? And we got x equals 4, therefore go ahead and shade this. And then you'll go on to your next problem. So the next problem reads x plus 3 equals 8. Okay, so we need to get x by itself. In order to do that, the opposite of adding is subtracting. We need to subtract a 3 on each side. Okay, so positive 3 minus 3 gives us 0. Let's go ahead and bring the x down, and 8 minus 3 is 5. Okay, so we have two options. X is equal to positive 5 or x is equal to negative 5. We got a positive 5 here. You can also check your work. Put in the number 5 for x. Well, we know 5 plus 3 does equal 8. So then go ahead and shade in x equals 5. So now we'll go on to our next problem. Okay, the next problem here we have negative 3 plus x equals 7. We need to get x by itself. So here we need to think, what's the opposite of a negative 3? It's a positive 3. Therefore, we need to add 3 to each side. So negative 3 plus 3 gives us 0. Let's go ahead and bring down the x. And 7 plus 3 is 10. So our answer here is positive 10. Again, you can check your work. Go ahead and put in the number 10 for x. So negative 3 plus 10 gives us 7. So it checks out. Go ahead and shade in x equals 10, and let's go to the next problem. Okay, the next problem reads 15 equals 5x. Again, we need to get x by itself. So the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So we're going to divide by a 5 on each side. Okay, 5 divided by 5 cancels out here. Let's bring down the x, and 15 divided by 5 is 3. Okay, so we're left with these two options. X equals 3. Again, you can check your work by putting in 3 for x. Well, 5 times 3 is 15. It checks out. So go ahead and shade in x equals 3. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next problem. Next, we have negative 4 plus x equals negative 11. Again, we need to get x by itself. Well, what is the opposite of a negative 4? It's a positive 4, so we need to add 4 to each side. Negative 4 plus 4 cancels out. Bring down the x. Negative 11 plus 4 is negative 7. Okay, so go ahead and shade in x equals negative 7. And again, you can check your work. Let's do negative 4 plus negative 7. You get negative 11, so it checks out. Okay, so next problem. Here we have 2 over 3x equals 12. So here we need to do the reciprocal, or the opposite of 2 over 3. So if we do the reciprocal, we flip 2 over 3, it becomes 3 over 2. So we need to multiply each side by 3 over 2. Okay, 3 over 2 times 2 over 3 cancels out. So now we have x. Now we're left with 12 times 3 divided by 2. Well, 12 times 3 is 36, divided by 2 is 18. So here x equals 18. Well, do we have 18? Yes, we do. It's right here. Okay, so go ahead and shade in x equals 18. Again, you can check your work by putting 18 in for x. You would do 2 times 18 divided by 3. You end up getting 12, so it checks out. Okay, so let's go to our next problem. Now we have x plus 8 equals 2. Again, we need to get x by itself. So now we have to think, what is the opposite of a positive 8? It's a negative 8. So now we need to subtract 8 on each side. Okay, positive 8 minus 8 cancels out. Let's bring down the x. And 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Okay, do we have negative 6 here? Yes, we do. So x is equal to negative 6. Let's shade that in. Again, check your work by putting in negative 6 for x. You'll put negative 6 plus 8 does give us 2. Let's go to the next problem here. Now we have 27 equals 9x. Again, we need to get x by itself. Well, what is the opposite of multiplying? Dividing. So we need to divide each side by 9. 9 divided by 9 cancels out. Let's bring down the x. 27 divided by 9 is 3. So here x equals 3. Let's go ahead and shade in x equals 3. Again, check your work by putting 3 in for x. 9 times 3 is 27. Okay, last example we have here. X plus 6 equals negative 15. Again, we need to get x by itself. Opposite of adding a 6 is subtracting 6. So we need to subtract 6 from each side. Positive 6 minus 6 cancels out. Now let's bring down the x. Negative 15 plus negative 6 is negative 21. Do we have a negative 21? Yes, right here. Go ahead and shade a negative 21, and then you can stop here. Okay, so for each problem, I would like you to show your work. Again, check your solutions as well. You do have to show your work in order to get credit. Okay, so I'd like you to try to do the second worksheet by yourself. Okay, however, you're going to start up here. You're going to begin here. And then you're going to shade your way all the way until you get here to the end. Okay, so please let me know if you have any questions. I would be glad to assist you. Send me a message and we can meet on Zoom. Okay, thank you for your hard work and your efforts. Keep up the great work. Thank you and have a good day.